Okay, well, first of all, I want to thank you all for coming. I appreciate your support in this. This is one of my favorite times of the year because we get to do this and it really helps bring us together, bind us together as a class. So I'm really happy that we're able to do it. I wasn't sure this year if we would be able to, but I got the green light, so I said we're just gonna go for it. So anyway, without further ado, if we're all ready, okay, we will start.
War, Roar, and Pour, a play about World War I, the Roaring Twenties, and the Great Depression. The play you're about to see covers the time period between 1914 to 1940. It was a time of war, prosperity, and then financial collapse. We begin our play in the White House. President Woodrow Wilson is discussing the problems between the countries of Europe with his aide, Colonel Edward House. It is 1914, and the world is about to enter the Great War, World War I.
In order to understand this part of the play, you need to know what the word alliance means. Alliances are treaties made between friendly countries to defend each other in case of attack. What are treaties signed between friendly countries to defend each other in case of attack?
Your turn.
Alliances.
Scene 1, the White House, June 28, 1914.
Mr. President, the Archduke of Austria-Hungary has been assassinated in Sarajevo.
Go
I
on.
said the words.
Go on.
Remember how I said Europe is like a powder keg?
Yes, do you think this is the smart that was said all along?
Yes, every major nation in Europe is armed to the teeth and caught in a web of protective alliances. Many countries promised each other that they would defend each other in case of attack and declare war on the enemy together.
How will those alliances come into play with this assassination?
Serbia will blame Austria-Hungary for the assassination and probably invade Serbia. If this happens, then Serbia will come to Austria-Hungary's defense and declare war on Austria.
And
If this happens, I'm sure Russia will come.
And Germany?
Germany is itching. Germany will honor their treaty with Austria-Hungary and declare war.
What about France?
France is itching to get back at Germany for what happened in 1870. Besides, France is alliance with Russia.
What's Great Britain's position?
Great Britain is honored to defend Belgium's neutrality. The only thing between Belgium is only enemy Germany and only enemy France and Belgium.
It sounds like all of Europe could go to. It sounds like all of Europe could go to war because of this assassination. Let's hope cooler heads prevail over there. Keep me posted.
Yes, Mr. President.
Scene 2, the White House, August 4th, 1914.
President Wilson, we've just gotten this information. Europe House of Cards toppled. Austria has invaded Serbia. Russia is at war with Germany and Austria-Hungary. Germany has invaded Belgium and is striking for France.
Why would Germany invade Belgium? Belgium decided not to take sides in war. Belgium is neutral. What has happened to a German sense of honor?
I know Belgium is neutral, but in this case, military strategy outweighs their sense of honor.
Explain what you mean by that.
Germany, it's easier for Germans to attack Belgium overland rather than by sea. They did it regardless of political costs, and those costs are pretty high.
Meaning Great Britain is now at war too?
I'm afraid so. That says if Belgium is attacked, Great Britain will defend her.
Well, we must.
Well, we must keep the United States out of it. I'll issue a proclamation of independence at once. You head for Europe and see if you can arrange a ceasefire. Good luck.
I'll do what I can, sir, but I'm not very confident. Hopefully our proclamation of neutrality worked better for us than it did for Belgium.
We take you now to Germany, into the highest office of the German government, Kaiser Wilhelm II. He is discussing the war with Admiral Scheer, and he's not in a very good mood. Scene 3, Berlin, Germany, February 4th, 1915.
In order to understand this part of the play, you need to know what a U-boat is. A U-boat is a boat that could travel underwater. We call them submarines. What did the Germans call submarines?
U-boats.
Admiral Scheer, we must do something. Great Britain has blocked our ports with their ships, and have not allowed our ships to sail into the open sea. Each time one of our ships tries to leave, they sink it. How can we win the war if we cannot leave the harbor?
I have an idea. We could do what Britain wants us to do and leave our fleet of ships in the harbor.
What? What kind of strategy is that? I can take away your command for suggesting that.
What I mean is we can't risk sending our ships, but we can send our U-boats to surround Great Britain.
Yes, I'm beginning to understand what you mean. We can send our U-boats to slip underneath the British ships that are blocking our harbor. Then we can send them to surround Great Britain. I think the British call them submarines instead of U-boats.
What if we encounter enemy ships on the way?
Well, that's all enemy ships be torpedoed.
And if those ships are neutral?
There's only one of the possible dangers. Surely, there's only one of the possible dangers. Surely, you know the risk of sailing out to the open sea during wartime.
Scene 4, the White House, May 7, 1915.
President Wilson, the Germans have declared unrestricted submarine warfare on the high seas.
They sunk the British liner.
They sunk the British liner in Lusitania. 1,200 people are dead, 124 of those are American.
Attacking a passenger ship. What's the Kaiser up to? We must submit. No.
Get me, Brian.
Get me Brian at once.
I heard the news, Mr. President.
Brian, we must launch a strong immediate protest.
That could jeopardize our neutrality.
I realize that, but we cannot tolerate such aggression. It is wrong to sink a passenger ship even in wartime. We must submit a protest to the German government.
Yes, sir.
Scene 5, Berlin, Germany, May 24, 1915.
Are the Americans really expressing their displeasure with some of Lusitania? I thought we warned Americans not to sail on any ships that belong to Great Britain in the war zone.
Yes, it's true. Also, President Wilson is pressuring us to warn passenger ships before we torpedo them so that the people have a chance to get into the lifeboat.
Warn them before we torpedo them? You know how many of those so-called passenger ships are carrying troops, supply, and ammunition?
Still, we don't let any more countries fighting against us. If we continue to sink unarmed ships, the neutral countries will declare war on us too.
Perhaps we will go more, at least for a while. Tell President Wilson that we have considered their request. We'll warn all enemy ships before we attack.
Are we really going to warn ships?
Of course we are, until we find it necessary not to.
Scene 6, the White House, February 2nd, 1917.
I don't know which
Mr. President, the Germans have declared.
Mr. President, Germans have declared unrestricted warfare on the high seas.
What? I wondered how long the Kaiser's power would last.
That's not all, Mr. President. The British government has intercepted an interesting telegram you should hear.
Go on.
It's from the German foreign minister Zimmerman to the Mexican foreign minister. It states Mexico will pay a lot if Germany attacks the United States.
What? How dare they? Germany is bribing Mexico to attack our southern border. We can be neutral no longer. We must get this country mobilized for a total war effort. Get me Hoover and General Pershing right away. We will declare war.
Yes, sir.
Johnny, get your gun, get your gun, get your gun. Take it on the run, on the run, on the guns. Hear them calling you and me. Every son of liberty. Hurry right away, no delay, go today. Make your daddy glad to have had such a lad. Tell your sweetheart not to fight, to be proud of boys in line. Over there, send the word over there. That the Yanks are coming, the Yanks are coming, the drums are jumping everywhere. So prepare, say a prayer, send the word to beware. Till we all we're coming over, and we won't come back till it's over there. Everybody sing!
The American troops made a difference in the war when slowly Germany and the Central Powers began to lose ground. The U.S. Navy began sinking German U-boats and shipped much needed food and supplies. The last great battle of the war took place in France in August of 1918. Soon after, the Germans asked for an armistice.
In order to understand this part of the play, you know what an armistice is. An armistice is an agreement between countries to stop fighting. What is an agreement between countries to stop fighting called?
Armistice.
Scene 7, the White House, November 11, 1918.
President Wilson. The Germans have signed an armistice. The Kaiser has fled to Holland.
Thank God. Our boys certainly did their part. For their sake and the sake of their children, let's hope this is the war to end all wars. When was this treaty signed?
At 11 a.m. this morning.
At 11 a.m. on the 11th day of the 11th month. This day should be remembered and celebrated.
Yes, Mr. I'll get right on it. The holiday that was created as a result of the end of World War I was called Armistice Day. We now call it Veterans Day. What is the holiday we now call Veterans Day?
Armistice Day.
Soon after November 1918, American troops began returning from the war. A time of celebration began. The returning troops wanted to shake off the hardship of war and return to a happier way of life. Their attitude caught on, and soon Americans were in the Roaring Twenties and having a roaring good time. Act 2, the Roaring Twenties, what more made the Roaring Twenties roar.
Saturday made back from war? Yeah, boy am I glad to be home. I've had enough of war. Living in churches day after day in all kinds of weather, I was miserable. It sounds awful. That's not the worst of it. The churches are filled with rats the size of small dogs. They never knew if the low-lying cloud was just fog or poisonous gas. It was a horror show.
It sounds awful, but at least it's over now. Say, speaking of horror show, did you know that your little sister Kathy has been working with a suffrage woman demanding the right to vote when you were fighting France? What? It's true. So she and the other women have been in the factories making ammunition for these boys. They've been marching on weekends, signs demanding the right to vote.
Why would they be doing a thing like that?
Well, I say that if they can be trusted in any nation, then they can be trusted when it comes.
Makes the right decision.
make the right decision when it comes to voting.
They won on the home.
Well, they can starve themselves all they want. Women are not going to get the right to vote. It's un-American.
Don't be too sure about that.
Kathy, how long have you been listening to our conversation?
Long enough to know you don't know what you are talking about. Right now, the 19th Amendment giving the women the right to vote has been approved by 35 states. And only one state needs to do it before a woman in this country can vote. That's right. So save us a place in the line in the voting booth in November when we cast our votes for President of the United States.
What is the war coming to? First the war, and now women might be able to vote. What's next? I don't know, but I do know I plan to have some fun while I'm home. As soon as I find a job, that is.
And look at that. Now that the war is over, factories don't need workers to make machines that it takes anymore. So then sending workers home instead of hiring. Well, you don't need a job to take us to the movies. It's only 10 cents each.
Yes, and it will be fun. Who's starring in the movie?
Charlie Chaplin and Clara Bow. I just love the way that Clara sings. I just love the way that Clara sings. Let's hurry, so we can get a good seat up front and read the subtitles.
The 19th Amendment that gave the woman the right to vote passed on August 26, 1920. Scene 2, a dance club, New York City.
Ladies and gentlemen, our dance marathon will begin in just 5 minutes. If you haven't registered yet, head to the back table to sign up. The last couple left dancing will win $35. Yes, you heard right, $35. There are 2 rules. The couples must remain dancing at all times, except for the 10-minute break on the hour, every hour. The second rule is couples must be back on the dance floor when the bell rings at the end of the 10-minute break, or they will be disqualified. So grab your partner, and may the best, or should I say, the strongest couple win. We start off our dance competition with the new dance sensation, the Charleston.
up, do you?
Of course not. Remember, if we win, we'll need some of the money for our wedding ceremony.
Oh yeah, right. I'll go get us something to drink. I'll be right back.
Maybell, I just love that dress. It's the cat's meow.
Oh, thank you. Your dress is fantastic, too. And a little bit red feather. Did you come dressed like that?
Are you kidding me? My parents would never let me leave the house wearing this. After all, the shock 9 inches off the floor, and when I danced my knee to the fringe. No, I brought this outfit and changed gears.
Good thinking. Say, where's your dance partner?
He's over there talking to the band leader. Hey, isn't your fiance Fred? He's looking spiffy.
That's Fred, all right. I'm glad you're thinking of looking so sharp. You wouldn't believe what he was wearing when we first met.
What?
He was still wearing those silk-type hats and parting his hair down the side.
Men are all wet when it comes to fashion.
I told him he needs to start living in the 1920s, not the 1890s. He needed to get a bowler hat, start parting his hair straight down the middle, and plastering it down homemade to give Dustin his other look.
Well, he sure is the real McCoy now.
Ladies and gentlemen, 10 minutes until the next round of dancing begins.
Gotta go, Claire.
Me too. Catch you later, alligator.
Scene 3, a classroom in Rangeley, Maine, 2021.
Okay, fifth graders, come right in. Have a seat. We're going to have a real interesting class today. Whoa. Remember, we don't run in the hall or the classroom. Okay. Okay, there we go. All right. We're going to have a real interesting class today because not only were the 1920s the decade of new fashions and new dances, but it was also the decade of Harry Houdini, Babe Ruth, Charles Lindbergh, and Louis Armstrong. So let's listen as these 4 important people meet in our classroom for the first time today.
Miss Mitchell,
Yes?
Harry Houdini isn't here.
Oh, that's too bad. I would have loved to have listened and heard him talk about that time that he escaped from the underwater cave. That's okay. We still have Babe Ruth, and we still have Charles Lindbergh and Louis Armstrong. So let's listen as these 3 important people meet in our classroom for the first time.
Miss Mitchell,
Yes?
Babe Ruth, couldn't make it.
Oh, no, Babe Ruth. The famous baseball player who first played for the Red Sox and then hit 54 home runs the first year with his Yankees. He didn't make it either. That's okay. We still have Charles Lindbergh and Louis Armstrong. So let's listen as these 2 people meet in our classroom for the first time.
Miss Mitchell, I hate to tell you, but Charles Lindbergh won't.
What? I suppose he's too busy giving interviews and accepting awards now that he won that $25,000 flying nonstop from New York to Paris and is playing the Spirit of St. Louis. He can't make it either. Well, at least we get to listen to Louis Armstrong sing and play What a Wonderful World.
About that, Louis Armstrong isn't here.
What? Why not? Don't those people know how important they were to the 1920s? Why didn't they show up?
Because they're all dead!
Oh.
As Miss Mitchell was saying, the 1920s roared on the dance floor in sports and setting records of all kinds. The economy was booming. More people put their money into the stock market than any other time in history. When people put their money into the stock market, they were buying a share of a company. When companies made profit, everything was fine. But when companies didn't make money, well, you'll see. Scene 4, Main Street, Shoe Shine Shop, Black Tuesday, October 29th, 1929.
Slick shine, please, but make it quick. I gotta call my doctor.
I'm right up, sir.
Say, aren't you new here?
Yes, I'm working my way through college.
Let me give you some advice. Put all your money in the stock market. Then you won't have to shine in the shoes. Soon you'll have all the money you need.
Is that right?
It certainly is. I'm a banker and I should know. Can't miss, kid. The stock market keeps going up and up. You'll be rich in no time.
Thanks for the advice, but I need some time to think about it.
Suit yourself. In the meantime, I still need to call my stockbroker. Perhaps after he tells me how well I'm doing, he'll change your mind.
Perhaps the phone is over there.
I'll be right back. Hello, Mr. Jones. How are my stocks going?
Hello, Mr. Riley. I've been trying to reach you all day. The market is sinking fast. People only want to sell. Are
Are you sure this is just a temporary setback? People will want to buy more stock soon.
I don't think so. This is very different from the market just before. Listen to the roar.
Sell! 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 Sell!
Everyone's trying to sell their stocks. Everyone's trying to sell their stocks, and prices are going lower and lower.
I can't believe the bomb has dropped out. People are trying to sell their stocks at low price just to get out of the market. But I bought stocks from a very safe company. I'm sure I'm still doing well. Mr. Jones, how am I doing?
Not good. Millions of stocks are worthless after just a few hours. I'll check on yours. I'm sorry, Mr. Riley, but you're completely wiped out. All your money's gone.
Gone? Gone? I can't believe all my money's gone!
Boy, I'm glad I didn't listen to your advice and put all my money into the stock market.
That doesn't matter now. Didn't you hear me? Millions of people like me have lost all their money. And that means more people will be shining their own shoes instead of paying you to do it.
Speaking of shoe shines, not going to shine a left shoe now?
Might as well. I have a feeling this might be the last shoe shine I get in a long time.
October 29th, 1929 marked the beginning of the Great Depression. Many companies went broke. Workers lost their jobs and money was tight. Even the farmer didn't get by without feeling the effects of the Depression. Much of the topsoil in the Great Plains is hardened by the lack of rain. The sun turned into a dry pattern that was blown away by gusty winds. Soon, much of the farmland in the country was covered in a thick layer of dust known as the Dust Bowl. Farmers couldn't grow crops and they couldn't pay their bills. Many farmers face situations like this.
Act 3, The Great Depression. Scene 1, Watland, Oklahoma. Watland Savings Bank, summer 1937.
I'm very sorry, but we have some bad news.
What? Don't I get that extension on my loan?
The hard truth is, the bank can't carry a loan another month.
Why not? This bank's got lots of money. And besides, I've been a good customer for over 20 years.
I know, and you've been a valued customer, but we have to pay our bills too. This is the trickiest, I'm afraid.
But all I'm asking for is a little more time. Once this blasted dust blows away, I'll be able to do a good profit. Then I'll be able to pay up.
Mr. Clear, we can all be choking on this dust for a very long time. We can't wait any longer.
What happens next?
The bank has no option but to foreclose.
Foreclosed? You mean you're going to take my farm away from me? That land has belonged to Cleary since my great granddaddy's time. But it's... I'm sorry, I messed up. I don't know.
I know if there was any other way.
Oh no, if there's any other way we do it. The bank, your farm will be put up for public auction in 30 days.
30 days? Oh, isn't that something I've given you folks for over 20 years of business? But as soon as hard times come along, we give you like
Just a
30
reminder
days.
that
My
fourth
family-
period high school study
Family,
hall with
clear
Mr.
out.
Bailey
It's not
should
right.
go
It's
to
not
high
fair.
school math room.
Conditions in the cities are just as bad. Many people were without jobs. It didn't matter how much you wanted to work. There just wasn't any work. Day after day, men searched for work. They wore after shoes walking from city to city, but came home with nothing. Some men have started to sell apples on the street. Scene 2, a bread line in New York City. Song, Brother, Can You Spare a Dime?
madcap years of the 1920s came to a screeching halt on October 24th, 1929. When the stock market crashed, America awoke to find the jazz age over, and the world plunged into a depression that would last a decade. From the first, American songwriters reacted to the country's mood. Once I built a railroad, made it run, made it race against time. Once I built a railroad, now it's done. Brother, can you spare a dime? Once I built a tower to the sun, brick and rivet and lime. Once I built a tower, now it's done. Brother, can you spare a dime?
They used to tell me I was building a dream, so I followed the mob. When there was earth to plow or guns to bear, I was always there and on the job. Brother, can you spare a dime? They used to tell me I was building a dream with peace and glory ahead. Why should I be standing in line just waiting for a piece of bread? Brother, can you spare a dime?
Once I built a railroad, now and made it run, made it race against time. Once I built a railroad, now it's done. Brother, can you spare a dime? Once I built a tower up to the sun with brick, rivet, and lime. Once I built the tower, now it's done. Brother, can you spare a dime?
Once in khaki suits off to war, we principled that Yankee Doodly Dum. Half a million boots and floggings through France, and I was a kid with a job. Brother, can you spare a dime? So I don't remember they called me Al. It was Al all the time, so I didn't remember I'm the Al. Brother, can you spare a dime?
By this time, Americans badly needed a way out of depression. Presidential candidate Franklin D. Roosevelt campaigned on the promise of giving Americans a New Deal. Once elected, he set about creating government agencies aimed at getting people back to work. One of the agencies he created was the Civilian Conservation Corps, or the CCC. Its mission was to pay young men to plant trees, prevent soil erosion, and manage flood damage areas. It was run like a U.S. Army base. Workers were Army fatigues and were issued Navy Peacoats. Scene 3, Duluth, Minnesota, Camp 701.
Oh boy. Ed, wake up. You have to be up and dressed for exercises by 6:30 sure.
I'm not sure I'm ready for push-ups this early in the morning.
Come on, we only have to exercise for 15 minutes, then we can head to the mess hall for breakfast. Eggs and ham, pancakes, and milk.
That will be a welcome change from our soup kitchens. We sure don't have the meals like that back at home.
I'm all a little nervous about our first day on the job. I've never done forestry work before. I hope they don't work us too hard.
I don't care how hard they work me, as long as they keep feeding and paying me $30 a month. I plan on sending $25 home each month. That'll go a long ways toward keeping their tummies full too.
Attention! All right, men, jumping jack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Push-ups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That's hard.
Ow! Alright. Rookies Edward Miller and Jack Green. You're going to be in my crew. We are heading to Deer Creek about 5 miles from camp. Our mission is to clear the creek so the water can run freely. Then we'll plant trees along the banks. After breakfast and a barracks inspection, the foreman will issue you a shovel, pickaxe, and a saw. Dismiss.
Did he say barracks inspection?
Yeah, I guess they weren't kidding when they told us this would be run like an army camp. Come on, Jack, let's go eat. I can face anything, even a barracks inspection on a full stomach.
Bye, have a good time.
From 1933 to 1942, the Civilian Conservation Corps planted 3 billion trees, built 13,000 miles of hiking trails, prevented soil erosion on 20 million acres of Midwest farmland, strung 89,000 miles of telephone line, preserved 50 national parks, fought forest fires, and put 3 million young men to work. Although the economy was depressed and life was hard, Americans did survive. They even found ways to have fun. They played marbles, board games, and worked together in their backyard gardens. They listened to the radio shows such as The Lone Ranger and Superman. They flocked to theaters to see King Kong, The Wizard of Oz, and Shirley Temple. In true American spirit, many of the most popular songs of all time talked about the opposite way life really was. We close our play with this popular tune.
We're in the money, we're in the money. We've got a lot of what it takes to get along. We're in the money, the sky is sunny. Oh, we're crazy! True, you've done us wrong. We never see a headline of a red line today. And when you see the landlord, please you let that guy right in the eye. We're in the money. Come on, my honey. Let's spend it, roll along.